Hello everyone and welcome back. This is part 2 of my custom card deck. For those of you that know me, my name is Sired Blood on axisandallies.org. I have a couple treads there. One of them is this card deck, which I think now is pretty well completed. In the description box you will find a download for this file. It's going to say there is 40 prints, but it's actually 20. It's set up to print front and back because I don't know about you, but I don't like white on the back. I just want it black. So it'll automatically print both sides for you. Now, there was another video that I really went over intricately each card. I'm not going to do that in this video. There is a few new cards that I will go over very quickly. But for the most part, all the other data is in the last video. It just wasn't released yet because I had some spelling errors and just, miscellaneous little things I wanted to take care of first. So the first new card is in Japan. I added actually a Kamikaze strike card. Okay, so there's only one of these. It's on the Japanese deck. Helps that Japanese player understanding and using his Kamikazes. Now, we all know how to use them for the most part, but for a new player, this helps. So there's 6 Kamikaze rolls per game. Use as defender only. It would be cool if we could use them as attacker, but unfortunately, no. So defending Kamikazes are assigned 2 targets. More than one can be assigned. So you as the attacker get to pick the casualties, not the defender. Kamikazes may not be assigned to submarine or transport units. For each Kamikaze, you roll 1 dice. 2 or less is a hit. Targets do not defend. And also, Kamikaze strikes prevent offshore bombardments. So that's one new card here. Another new card I added. Got the idea because Young Grasshopper uses this. He keeps this, if Germany controls London, this national objective. Now, he has 5. I think that was the original from first edition. But I dropped it down just $1 because when you take over England, you're already getting 6. Okay? And you're not going to let Scotland, you're not going to leave that monkey on your back. So you're going to have 8. Okay? So 8 plus 4 equals 12. That leaves London to be self-sustaining each turn. You're going to get 12, and you can drop 3 guys on there, and it's not costing you a thing. Okay, so that's why I just drop it down to 4. And then there's one other. I added in the last video. I said there was one card I wanted to do that I totally forgot about. It was on my list. I somehow skimmed over it. Is the transport card. So. The transport card, most of us know how this works, but like I said, these cards aren't here to teach you how to play. They are mainly for reminders. You can sit at your table and be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's right, I forgot. So loading units may not move prior to loading. So if you're trying to load a transport and you have a tank, you can't move 1 space and then load on the transport, okay? The tank needs to be on the shoreline already, okay? And then we all know the capacity, 1 land unit plus infantry or 2 infantry, okay? Offloading units may not move after unloading. So if you had a tank and you load, when you get dropped off, you don't get to keep going because you didn't use your movements yet. When you offload, you're done, okay? You may only offload in a single territory per turn. So even though your transport might be adjacent to several coastal territories, you have to pick one. Okay, you just can't. You have to use more transports to do those landings. Okay, no loading or unloading is permitted in hostile waters. Once unloaded, it cannot move again that turn. That goes back to what I was saying a minute ago about the tanks. Transports may not load after unloading. Okay, so once you unload, that transport turn is done. Okay, you can't put more guys on there later to relocate the next turn. You have to wait. Okay, friendly powers can share transports, but only load and offload on their turn. Okay, so if your transport's parked there, yes, your ally can use it, but they have to load on their turn and offload on their turn. Transports do not block enemy movements. Okay. You may not load or unload with another transport. Now, there's a couple scenarios that would actually be pretty cool, but unfortunately, no. Okay. And only may be chosen as a casualty if no other eligible unit. Okay. So if you have your naval battle going on, you can't use your transport as a casualty unless there's nothing else left. Okay. Like, for example, your planes or whatever, if there's only a submarine left in a transport, well, the planes can only hit that transport. So even though you do have a naval unit left with a submarine, well, that can't be hit by planes. So your casualty is the transport. Okay, these no combat value. The transports are auto killed when the only unit remaining. Any cargo is also destroyed. During an amphibious assault, all units must offload. Okay, so when you have that on your combat movement, you can't unload, say, a tank and leave a guy on there. Okay, that guy has to go off as well. Okay, and then lone transports may not ignore enemy submarines during an amphibious assault. Now, if you go into the rules, a hostile sea zone is not determined by submarines or transports. However, in an amphibious assault, they are. Okay. Now, once units offload the transport, there is no retreat for those ground units. And it's funny, we actually had this problem on the last game. I was doing Sea Lion, and I was getting into my tanks and my planes, and I wanted to retreat. And I was like, crap, I can't retreat. I'm stuck there. So I'm stuck there losing all of my tanks. Now, I would have retreated if I could have, but it actually worked out because I actually took Sea Lion. I had 3 tanks left and 2 strategic bombers, and that's it. But I got it. But I would have retreated if it was possible. Now, also, if a transport retreats from an assault, it may not unload. So if your naval battle on your amphibious assault is going bad, and you decide, look, I'm just going to get out of here and retreat. Well, now those loaded transports have to float. Okay, even if that territory next to your transport is yours or an ally's, you can't offload because you already did your movement. You loaded. Okay, so if you do not drop them into that battle, they have to float. Okay, so they are sitting ducks. So that's it for the transport card. There was another edit I did on the submarine card. I forgot to add one thing. So I added in here. May move through Gibraltar regardless of owner. Okay, so that was just an update. I think that covers pretty much everything I did. Oh, no, I did change one more thing. It was on the turn sequence. Now, I understand I have house rules built into this, so if you don't like the house rule I use, sorry, just discard this, take away this card, don't use it. But I did tweak my research and development just a little bit from my video. I wanted to add in, if you roll fails, okay, so if you roll fails, rolls 2 and under can be rolled again on your next turn, and if 3 and 5 are discarded. So other than that, it's all the same stuff. About the unlock technology, you see here, I kind of did a little sample. Germany has rockets, and it has heavy bombers and a naval. I'm sorry, what do they call it? My mind's blank right now. Shipyard. And then America has bombers and subs. So those technologies are unlocked. So if there's rules in here, which I went over in my previous video about that to get those. And now that I think about it, there was one more card. It is on the U.S. This is actually a Pacific only. Oh, it's another thing. When you're doing these cards, you got to watch out. Some are for Europe, some are Pacific, some are global. Okay, you go through here. Some are Pacific and global. Okay, some are Europe and global. So when you give these cards to your player, you want to make sure they realize that, hey, those aren't all your national objectives. You know, their mouth's just going to water. Oh, I get 5, I get 30, I get 5. No, no, no. So maybe before the game, you as the host, you know, pull the ones that for the theater you're not playing. It's just pretty much America and Russia. Russia has some for that are Europe only. I think the rest are pretty much okay, like aside from this one here. But there is a house rule I use. It's this card here is in Pacific, but not in Global. But I carry it over. I like it a lot. It's $30 one-time payment for if Japan makes any unprovoked declaration of war against ANZAC, United Kingdom, or United States. So the minute Japan attacks anybody other than China, boom, America gets 30 extra bucks. Okay, I like this. I like this rule a lot, so I just keep it. So like I said, you don't want to use this, you know, check that card off the side. So let me think here. I think that wraps everything up. Like I said, the file will be in the description box. You go ahead and download it. It's going to print front and back. There's also these are kind of a unique size, but they're made to fit inside the out of box containers for the pieces. So so you can pick your country, you put them all in there. Okay. There's 6 of each information card. I know there's 9 countries, and in my other video I had it set up for everybody had a card, but you know, there's only going to be 6 players, so I figure there's no reason to print 9 decks. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm actually going to be starting my series for strategy. I know there's already a lot of strategy videos out there. However, mine are totally different. Actually, my strategy videos were made to counteract the majority of the videos out there. As my players, they would come to my table, and I felt like I was just playing basically a young grasshopper video. They would do, you know, move for move, and so I made these new strategies to pretty much counteract all of those. So I will start those pretty soon. That's it. So thanks a lot, and take care. Goodbye.